Have you ever felt like you're thrown a curveball so big that it threatens to knock you off your feet? Today, we're exploring how to find strength and meaning in life's toughest moments. I'm going to share some real, relatable stories that have reminded me of the incredible resilience we all possess, even when we feel at our weakest. Hey parents, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. Do you want to raise your kids better and have a stronger marriage? Are you up late at night researching marriage and parenting tools and self-care tips? Do you start each day hoping for deeper connections and less chaos, but it ends with family arguments and going 12 different directions again? My name's Kendra, wife, mom, therapist, and growth enthusiast. It wasn't until I discovered how to fulfill my unmet needs that I was finally able to show up as my best self, as a spouse and parent. I realized that by meeting my needs, I could more fully meet the needs of my family, with more energy and less resentment. In this podcast, I teach parents skills like boundary setting, prioritizing personal needs, communication, and claiming ownership. Just like my clients, you'll be shocked by the improvement in your marriage, parenting, and personal life when you focus on fulfilling your important, unmet needs. Ready to prioritize yourself so you can quit mentally throat punching people? Then grab those earbuds and head outside, and let's walk and talk. Welcome back to Fulfillment Therapy, the podcast dedicated to helping parents improve their mental health, wellness, and life fulfillment. I'm your host, Kendra Nielsen, and today we're tackling a heavy but important topic, dealing with the unimaginable and finding strength in life's toughest moments. This week's episode came about because of 3 friends that have reached out and shared their heart-wrenching stories with me. I won't share identifiers because I want to respect their privacy. But one of my friends talked about her husband's brain tumor returning and how it will keep coming back until it will potentially take his life. And all of these examples that I'm giving you are people in their young 40s. So times when you wouldn't expect such challenges. The second one was a friend that found out she has cancer all over her body and she's awaiting surgery and not sure of what the results will be. And then the third one is a friend that is currently undergoing chemotherapy, and she's struggling to find the energy for different milestones as they're coming up, and doing that with her only child when she's so sick and not sure what's coming next for her. So these stories, all coming in the same week, reminded me about the fragility of life and the immense strength we can find within ourselves, even when we feel at our weakest. Jodi Picoult says this: "The human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance." We all encounter moments that feel unmanageable. It could be a job loss or a divorce or financial struggles. I'm sure many of you have had all of those things or some of those things. But the lessons from those potentially life-threatening situations apply to all of us. When we are faced with those giant question marks in our lives or those moments of uncertainty, we often discover strengths that we never knew that we had. Think about Michael Singer. He wrote the book Untethered Soul and also The Surrender Experiment, and he was wrongly accused of fraud, and he faced years of uncertainty before they found out the verdict of that whole experience, and he lost his job, and he faced a lot of potential prison time and just living in that space for so long, like wondering what was going to happen. Through this ordeal, he learned profound lessons about surrender and inner peace that other people could not share on the same level. And think about I don't even know how many people have read his books, but potentially hundreds of thousands of people that he's reached, and he's been able to teach about surrender and cultivating that peace and that acceptance in ways that no one else could because of his experience. So how do we navigate those unimaginable challenges? When life throws us those curveballs, it's important to have some strategies in place. And here are just a few things you can use to navigate those tough times. And I do want to say here, it's not going to necessarily make it easy. These things are not easy. It might just be the thing that takes the edge off that helps us get through the next day. But these are things that can help. Number one, practice acceptance. So acknowledge the reality of your situation without judgment. This is where I talk a lot about having curiosity instead of shaming yourself for not responding in the way that you would hope to. This does not mean that you approve of what's happening, but it allows you to focus your energy on moving forward. So just that acceptance, that letting go. The next one is developing a resilient mindset. So try to reframe your challenges as opportunities for growth. That sounds a little bit trite, but it really does work. So look for small ways to tackle problems and make those positive changes, even when things feel overwhelming. Like for my friend that is struggling to have any energy right now as she goes through chemotherapy, it could be as simple as, today I'm just going to connect with my daughter for 10 minutes in a deeper way and simply be present and available without worrying about the future. The next one is build a support network. So don't be afraid to reach out to friends. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to be open, but that is what brings us joy as well. So reach out to those friends or those family members, or if you don't want to go there, you can also do a support group. People may not know you, but they can still offer that support. These connections are really crucial when you are experiencing those dark, tough, challenging times, because if you're doing it alone, that burden is so much heavier. And don't think less of yourself if you are reaching out. It's necessary to navigating this successfully. The next one is that small and simple thing that people minimize, but it's necessary, and that's engage in self-care. So are you neglecting yourself when you're stressed out? Do you prioritize the physical and emotional health of other people, or are you doing the same for yourself? So make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're eating, and find time for exercise or even a little bit of play. It just helps you put fuel back in your tank so you can manage the challenges that are coming at you, sometimes faster than you can think. And last but not least, set small, simple goals, just like I talked about with my friend, of being present with her daughter for 10 minutes a day where she doesn't worry about the future. Maybe it's something else, like maybe if it's a job loss, it's like, okay, I can't redo my resume and talk to everybody to do all these things. It feels way too overwhelming, but I can research one job today and write down the 3 next steps. Even if it's tiny movement, it's still momentum. And as you're doing that, celebrate those victories. Another helpful thing you can do is somebody that you are reaching out to. You can be like, I am in a really dark spot and it's hard to have any sort of momentum when I'm here. Can you please be my accountability partner? And can you just check up on this one thing tomorrow, just a quick text, or next week? And can you keep asking me what my next thing is? Because I just need that extra support right now because I'm getting stuck. So how do we prepare for those potential setbacks if maybe we are not experiencing it or we haven't experienced that yet? Nelson Mandela said, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall." So we can't predict every challenge, but we can prepare ourselves. We can build that emotional resilience through coping mechanisms and self-care. So that's that first step. And if you are a little bit isolated, it's important to start that now, before tragedy strikes. Create a tribe of people you can reach out to and also people that you can help. It doesn't have to be overly needy or anything like that, just somebody that has your back and you have theirs. And the third one is get practical matters in order. This is a very simple thing that you can do. So that can be an emergency fund that you have set up. Having all your important documents in a very simple to access place, whether for you or for others, or ideally both. And also end of life discussions. I have those with my kids a lot. Like, all right, if something happened to me and dad, obviously we hope that never does. Where do you guys think you would want to live? Who would you want to stay with? And we also normalize death and we let them know we're not afraid of it and it's okay to have fear, but let's talk about it. And we have so many conversations that is not taboo. It's not overly scary to them at all. And that has become our family culture. And so they will be prepared and not blindsided if something was to happen. We've already had a lot of those conversations. I really have learned that the pain of loss can be a refining fire that strengthens us and helps us become a stronger version of ourselves if we let it. So again, thinking about the stories of my three friends, her husband having a life-threatening condition, or my friend with cancer, or my other friend also with cancer, but with chemotherapy. There is a major burden there for them. The one doesn't know what's going to happen to her daughter if she doesn't make it. The other one is worried about how her three children will get through it with all of the challenges they've had in their life. And the last one just doesn't know where to turn to get help for finding the best place for her daughter should she not make it. Those are big, challenging, horrible things to consider. And I think about my own story. My daughter, at the time, I think she was about a month old. She stopped breathing for about 4 minutes, and we were on the phone with 911. I remember when we were trying to revive her over and over, and it wasn't working. I remember a voice telling me, it's going to be okay. And I knew even then, like that brought me peace. That gave me this comfort. But I knew that okay was relative. That voice did not tell me my daughter would survive, but it did tell me that it would be okay. And I believed that, and I trusted that. It is that letting go. It's that surrender, knowing that we may not know what the outcome is. We probably won't, but that we can trust that we can get through it, even if we don't know how. It's also important to find meaning in adversity. I've talked before about something called post-traumatic growth. This is a concept that says that people can experience positive change as a result of their struggles with any of those highly challenging circumstances. Now, sometimes we're tempted to go to that too quickly. Oh, that toxic positivity of, oh, it's fine, I have so many blessings, and minimize their experience is not that. But as you're working through your challenges, you start to find meaning and growth in your challenges. And you find that you're grateful for them in this very strange, conflicting way. That reminds me of the time when my son was in the hospital, and I was too, for a couple months with 3 kids at home. And I still feel very conflicted about it with my memories. Like some of the darkest memories of being in that small, dark room with my baby, nursing, and him not really nursing very well. He was 2 months premature, and just feeling so dark and sad, missing the holidays with my family, all of these things. And at the same time, how my tribe, my family, my friends reached out in support is above and beyond some of the most beautiful memories that I have. How they gathered to help and lift me. And those angels in my life that I never would have experienced without that opportunity before. Now, I want to talk briefly before I end about how we can support other people through these major life obstacles, because honestly, sometimes we don't do that very effectively, myself included. When someone we care about is going through a tough time, it's natural to want to help, but I'm going to give you just a few things that you could do that would be helpful and things maybe to not do. I just want you to practice active listening, so give your full attention and validate their feelings without judgment. Offer that emotional support and be present and empathetic, and provide comfort through words of encouragement or simply sitting in silence. It doesn't have to be like trying to fix all the things, but I'll go into that in a minute. And then you can provide the practical assistance. So offer specific ways to help with tasks or errands and respect their autonomy and boundaries. My youngest daughter has been in the hospital for the last 3 days. She has pneumonia and strep and has had an elevated fever for 2 weeks, has really struggled breathing. So she's in the hospital, and that has been a challenge. And she's been afraid. And I watched my oldest daughter. She wants to be a nurse. And I was just amazed, very impressed by her skill in doing this, offering that practical assistance. Like now I respond to my daughter, my youngest daughter, and I say things like, can I get you anything? Can I help? What can I do? And now my oldest daughter, instead of asking, she pulls out her nail stuff. Here, give me your hand. I'm going to do your nails. I brought the massage gun. Why don't I massage your back? And she's very proactive with doing things instead of, let me know how I can help. And it's just so beautiful. And I think that is a perfect example of how we can help others. Now, here's a few things you don't have to do. Don't offer unsolicited advice. So many people go to this and they try to fix their problems or tell them how they should feel. Please do not do this. We get a little uncomfortable, a lot of people that are not used to feelings or challenges, and they want to fill it up with lots of words or advice or platitudes or something, and you don't need that. It can be very simple. Do not minimize their experiences and say things like, it could be worse, or everything happens for a reason. I remember my sister talking about that when we lost our dad, my older sister. She said, I got so angry at God when people told me that God needed my dad more, and I started to hate him. So keep that in mind. Like, those platitudes don't always help, especially when you're thinking about the age of the child or different things like that. Maybe just putting a hand on their arm or just letting them know that you love them and you care and you're so sorry they're going through this. Just as long as they can feel your sincerity and your love instead of just being awkward or giving advice or going to that toxic positivity, that's what they'll remember. They just want to know that you care and you love them. And that's the important part. Do not pressure them to move on, but allow them to process their emotions at their own pace. It looks different for all of us, and don't judge them if it's too fast or too slow, because you can't say unless you've walked in their shoes and had the life they have had. All right, just a few last practical steps for coping with the unmanageable. Practice that mindfulness, that meditation to stay grounded because you're going to need it. Journal about your experiences because that will help you process your emotions and your feelings and find peace at an accelerated rate than if you just avoided it and didn't reflect on it. Writing really is a powerful tool for processing difficult feelings. And the third one is please seek help. I had a client recently that has had all of his immediate family die in one calendar year, and he was feeling very ashamed of needing help. And I just let him know, hey, there is no shame in getting counseling, and there's no shame in medication or whatever you need to get through something that is quite likely one of the hardest things you will ever face. And it is brave in many ways to do those extra things that will help you manage this in a better way instead of maybe taking it out on your family or sinking further into depression or any of those things. So help them see that there is no shame in the things that they are doing to try to get that extra help, whether that's medication or counseling or things like that, or even asking friends or family for help. The next one is connect with others through those support groups, through close friends, and be willing to be open so that you can feel less alone. And the last one is just focus simply on what you can control. Identify those small things that you can do each day to improve your mindset or your situation, even if they're so small. Like maybe it's just a phone call to an aunt that will just help you get out of your head a little bit and laugh, maybe. Or maybe it's simply scheduling the next counseling session, or it's just making those next steps just in case it doesn't go the way you hope it does. Like for my friend that doesn't know the results of her cancer and what will happen next. It's just simply like talking about it. Like her and I, we talked about, okay, if this does not go well, how can I support you? Like I'm okay with talking about death. So we just talked about it. And in that talking, she was able to process a lot of her fears, her grief. And that was helpful. And just to reassure her that, hey, I'm here. I've got your back. I'm willing to give like those milestone letters or take videos of you or do whatever we can, that if it goes that route, you can share different thoughts and feelings with them or whatever it might be, whatever would be most needed to help you feel peace. If this is something that you won't survive, what can we do next? How can I help you? Remember, my friends, you are stronger than whatever challenges you're facing. You have the capacity to not just survive, but to grow and find meaning through your struggles at your own pace. You don't have to be there today, but it will come if you are patient with yourself and practice that curiosity and that self-compassion. And just the key takeaways that I talked about today, adversity really can lead to personal growth and resilience. Preparing for those setbacks can reduce our anxiety and increase our readiness. And as we practice surrendering and letting go, we can be filled with greater peace and we can find meaning in adversity, and that can lead to personal transformation. But again, respect the pace and don't force that. Supporting others through tough times requires empathy and respect, and not just trying to fix things or go to toxic positivity or platitudes, because that doesn't help anything. Just simply love them. That is all I have for today, my friends. Until next time, this is Kendra Nielsen reminding you that even in life's toughest moments, you have the strength to persevere and the capacity to find fulfillment. Don't forget to check out our courses on fulfillmenttherapy.org if you want to start your online business or podcast, or if you want to take your wellness and mental health to the next level. We have several courses for that and some coming. That is for personal growth, that's for your marriage, and coming soon is for healing your home. So check those out and see what we have. They are very affordable and self-led, all online courses. You're going to love them. We have poured our hearts out into making those the best that we can and have delivered 10 times what you would expect from a similar course. So you don't have to hesitate to invest in that because it will be worth every penny and then some. All right, my friends, I'll see you back here in just a few days. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you, no matter what your house or your hair looks like. I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.